Hey guys, what's up? Megan here. Story time. And today it's probably the best out of all the stories because I've been waiting for this one for a long time. Why? Because it's about this guy, right? This guy called Tayo that I think I mentioned in videos before. When we started working out, me and my friends back in CSI years ago, and we didn't know anything about bodybuilding. We just wanted to go to the gym and lift weights, you know. I was 16 at the time, and I was not allowed in the college gym because I was too young. You had to be 18 to be in the gym, and I was like, well, I started college early, so what do I do? So I had to sneak in that bitch, and I didn't know how to work. I didn't know anything, you know. I just went in the gym and started lifting weights. I just kept doing preacher curls. That's all I did was preacher curls, right? And I didn't know anything about dieting, and every time I would go online to look for exercises, I remember the first person I saw was Ronnie Coleman. Ronnie Coleman and Jay Cutler were the first bodybuilders I saw. I didn't even, you know, I wasn't even into Arnold and all that shit. And I was like, man, these guys are huge. Back then, I didn't know about steroids. I didn't know about nutrition. I didn't know about all that shit. You know, I just wanted to get big. And I kept doing the same shit every time. And at first, obviously, in new games, my biceps got big, and then they just fucking shrunk because my nutrition sucked ass. Every time I read about eating protein, I'm like, man, protein, get the fuck out of here. I don't need that shit. All I gotta do is lift weights. So, but then I ran into this guy, right? His name was Tayo, and he was mad fucking big. To this day, I will never forget this. When he would walk in the gym, everyone, literally, it's not just your typical big guy that walks in the gym and everyone starts looking at him. No, this guy was developing every part of his body. His calves, his quads, his hams, his biceps, his back, his arms. And he was huge. You know, he used to be in the Marines and things like that. So he's, you know, he's big on discipline and, you know, lifting. And he's one of these guys that when he walks in the gym, everyone just, you know, you don't give a fuck why you in the gym. You just want to look at the nigga, right? And you start, you know, double guessing yourself like, yo, am I gay or something? I can't stop looking at this guy. He was just muscular. And everyone was afraid to ask him like, yo, man, how'd you get so big? Even though he was a cool guy, he'll come in, he'll joke around. But I never understood what his routine was. I would see him come in the gym and do all these fucking exercises, and I'm like, what's his routine? Back then, I didn't care about chest. To me, chest was useless. I didn't care about back. Damn sure didn't care about shoulders or traps. It was all preacher curls. But anyway, hold on 1 second. But anyway, this guy was just fucking big, and everyone wanted to know his secret. I never asked him. And then years went by. I left New York. You guys know the story. I left New York, started traveling all the U.S., went to Texas, Alabama, back to Alabama, this and that. And hold on 1 second. All right, false alarm. So yeah, so anyway, years went by. I stopped working out. You know, I became skinny as a twig, things like that. And I started bodybuilding again. You guys know, well, not again, for the first time in 2011. And that's when I realized, hey, food counts. Food is important. Nutrition is important. Hydration, all these things. And boom, Team 3D was born, and I'm here today. And I found him on Facebook, right? I forgot that he was on Facebook. When I started doing these videos about his crazy stories, make sure you watch the other crazy stories, especially Ola's story about his huge chest and how his philosophy was simple. Every single day he went to the gym, he did chest. Every day. I remember when I was at that gym at CSI, I first saw him come in, and he looked like shit. And in less than, I don't know how many months, you know, I stopped working out, I told you guys, and I went back to the gym to see my friends, and I saw him, and I could not recognize how big he was. His chest was huge, his deltoids, his triceps. And I was like, and I saw him once again, he did the exact same thing. He comes in the gym, does chest. That's all he did. And at the time, you know, we used to make fun of him, but hey, he made more gains in like in a few months than we made from going to the gym all the time. But anyway, so it was at the same time that I saw him and Tayo. But anyway, on Facebook, I saw Tayo, and I sent him a message because I was like, oh shit, I forgot he was on Facebook after all these years. And I was like, hey man, how you been? You still work out? Blah blah blah. But anyway, I have a question. How did you get so big? I never asked you that when I was at CSI. But now I have a chance to ask you, how did you get so big? What is your secret? You know, what is your secret for gaining so much mass? And the only thing I knew about him at the time, I heard that from a friend that had asked him, was that every time he finished lifting, he would go to McDonald's and just order everything on the menu and just eat like a motherfucker, right? That's the only thing I knew about him. So pretty much he would cut backload before cut backloading was even out. He would just go eat a lot of food after, you know, post-workout. And that was his bro science. Coming to find out later on, you know, science came out with the whole post-workout, window of opportunity, all that bullshit. So that's what I tell you guys, bro science has its roots, you know, in bodybuilding. yes, they're not gonna be right all the time, but they know part of it because they do the damn thing. You know, they're not in a laboratory, you know, fucking using electrodes, but they know what they're doing. But anyway, let's get to the fun part. So I asked him, I said, hey man, what is your secret? And guess what he told me? I waited like 2 days for his reply because he wasn't replying yet, and I was all excited, like, oh man, I'm making a video on this shit, man. And not only I want to know to tell you guys, but I want to know for myself because this guy was so big, and you know, you guys know I'm like the Sherlock Holmes of bodybuilding. I like asking everybody and doing research. He answers. He says all I did was number one, because I told him one of the top 3 most important things to get big for him. He said number 1, lift with heavy ass weights. I was like, okay, that's, you know, I'm writing that down, but we know that by now. But he says lift with heavy weights. Number 2, and this is where he got shocking. He said I trained every single muscle every time I went to the gym. Every time I went to the gym, I hit every single muscle back to back. Boom, full body workout, motherfuckers. I was like, yes, I knew I was on the right track, man. Because you guys know me, I'm big on full body workouts. I just discovered how crazy they are when I experimented with them. And I was so amazed to find out that this guy was, you know, that's what he was doing. You know, that's how he got so big. He said every time he went to the gym, he trained every muscle. He didn't do chest one day, back the other day. He trained every muscle. That's why, remember I told you guys when his muscles were crazy, proportionate and shit like that? Because he never allowed one muscle to get bigger than the other. He trained every muscle every time he went to the gym. And the third thing he said he trained 4 times a week. So I remember I was doing full body workout 3 times a week. He was training every muscle 4 times a week, and then he would recover for 3 days and eat like a tank. And that was his top 3 mass secrets. Number 1, heavy weights. Number 2, every single muscle every time he hit the gym. He didn't care if it was sore. He didn't care whatever. He just hit that muscle every time he went to the gym. And the last thing was, 4-day split. He would train 4 days straight, beat that muscle up, and then recover for 3 days by eating a lot. And it's almost like Ola's story. You know, Ola's story was like every time he went to the gym, he hit chest, and he had the biggest chest in the gym in a matter of months. This guy came in looking like a regular guy, and in a matter of months, he had the biggest chest and triceps out of people that have been in the gym for the longest. You know? So you see the patterns and the philosophies. Both of these guys got big as fuck and had similar philosophies. They hit the muscle back to back to back. Remember I made videos about that. People were like, oh Jonathan, you gotta stop spreading misinformation. You know, science says you should only train each muscle once or twice a week. You know, guys, if people are doing it and it's working, and I'm finding out more and more people are doing it's working, just try it out before you knock it, you know. So bam, there it is. There goes Tayo's story how to get big. He trained 4 times a week, every single muscle 4 times a week, and he ate a lot to recover. You know, it's not like he didn't care about recovery. He put 3 days aside for that. That means it's very important. So hope that, you know, hope that helps some people out there. Don't be afraid to hit the same muscle back to back. I made so many videos on that. Don't be afraid to do it. You know, Olympic lifters train their movements every single time they go to the gym, and they have these huge traps. Fucking so many people I could mention who train the same muscle. I found out that CT Fletcher guy, I found out that his story is similar. I found out that he used to train arms every time he went to the gym. I should have, you know, if I knew about that, I would have started this a long time ago. Who else I find out used to hit the same muscle? Johnny Jackson's traps. He used to hit that shit every day when he's younger. Now he has traps up to his ear. The story that I made, I told you guys about the guy from Thailand with the huge traps. When he was skinny, his master told him to carry heavy buckets of water up and down the hill every single day for like 2 hours a day. His traps are fucking humongous. Marco, when he used to play rugby, every single time they would train, you know, the same muscle, and that muscle blew up. So guys, you know, I mean, all these stories point to, and these guys don't know each other. All these stories are completely random stories that I put together and look for the common link. So try it out, man. If you don't believe me, and I told you guys, you want to get big arms, hit that shit every day. When my triceps were lagging, I wanted them to catch up. I went to the gym at the end of every workout. I would do endless, like 10 sets of rope push downs. And then my triceps got so big at one point that I could go like a week without training them, and they would stay big. You know, so I don't know the science behind it, but guys, it works, right? It works. Don't worry about overtraining as long as you're eating and sleeping. So this video is too long. Hope this video helps. Stay tuned for more stories because I'm always asking questions, you know, every time I meet people. All right, thumb up the video if it helped, and I will see you in the next video.